we know about history is just a little part of reality. Little part. And what's accepted as historical development is only last little part. Because
hello my friends, I'm very happy and so much honored to be here with Dr. Konstantin Korotkov.
Yes.
Physician and physicist, and that invented so much devices as biowell and so much more. Thank you to be here. We are here for the in occasion of the 7th Congress about the Pyramid of Bosnia. So you are taking measurement and so on. Yesterday we have seen a very beautiful lecture from the doctor. There is some connection between these pyramids or other pyramids in the world and other cases, such as the case of the not human bodies of Nazca or other cases in the world.
To my mind, all those pyramids, all those cases, they represent one and the same idea. Idea that it was in other civilizations before known to us our civilization, and as was proven by Dr. Semes Managich here, they existed about 30,000 years ago. And it is absolutely logical, because we know that as human beings, this body with this brain, for about 3,000–4,000, 100,000 years. So it's quite logical that in this long period people was able to create some civilizations. And we have a group of scientists who try to prove and look for scientific evidences that worldwide in different countries we have subjects like pyramids, like different constructions that belong to these prehistoric civilizations. This is first of all, of course, Egypt, ancient Egypt. These are here in Bosnia, and in, I believe, in Mesoamerica as well.
it is Peruvian wonders. You know that Peru, it is fantastic country. I love this country because it has mountains, it has jungles, rivers, cities, ocean, beautiful. And it was a country of top-level civilization, top-level. And this civilization was, they had really huge territory, very well organized society, with roads all over the territory, with people running with messages from one station to another station, because they didn't have animals like in Europe or Asia, so they were running everywhere. And this civilization was very high, but then of course it was totally destroyed by Spaniards. And one in my trip was 2017, when somehow I came there.
One of the most important discoveries of the 20th century.
We brought it out, we don't pull it out of the box. We were stunned silence.
It was prepared. The size of this one was 168 centimeters. It's practically my size. It's a bit shorter. So it means that this was a person who was walking as we do, who was able to move hands as we have, with long legs. So proportion of the body was very similar to ours. It is actually authentic hand with three fingers, very long.
The three fingers.
Yes, so you see, this is our first mummy that we was presented. And I was lucky to be in the team. We came there, we were presented with this mummy, and you see 3 long fingers, 3 long toes, and it was several scientists, so I was able to take samples from inside the mummy, and then I was able to organize research in Russia, both DNA research, sample research, and later it was done MRI of this mummy, and we were able to study this MRI. And it's all in Nazca area. You know, Nazca, it is very popular plateau with geoglyphs of huge size. But now it is found a lot of geoglyphs all over the area. So not only on this plateau, but in different hills. So it's clear that for them they created this, and you know, from the earth you see nothing, just lines. Only from the air you can see it. So it's one of the enigmas. We were able to see all internal organs. So her internal condition was practically same as us, and it was very well kept, because in this area they had last rain about 3,000 years ago. So those are mountains, no vegetation at all. At one time I was with my friend, we were taken to this cave, but only to one of the caves, because we know that this guy he has several caves with mummies. Now he sells these mummies. It was possible to make all detailed analysis of inner structure, both internal organs, then bones, spine, head. So it was absolutely very detailed analysis was done by one professor from our university, and it was clear that it's not a fake, it's not a doll, it is a real mummy of real person. And you see it's a big difference between mummification in Egypt. In Egypt they extracted our organ systems, then they put body in special liquids, and it took them many years. In Peru, in Mexico, it is natural process of mummification. In Mexico, in Guadalajara, we go to the Museum of Mummies. So this big museum with natural mummies of different people. They found in somewhere in desert, as usual. So it's natural mummification. So this is typical. And as I told, it was done a big research, but we were invited again to Peru, and we were presented these mummies. You see, those are little mummies, like this size. And pay attention to this construction. So this is Roberto, and again, on X-ray, you can see construction of bones. Of course, it was MRI as well done. And then please pay attention. It is metal clipped inside. So it is it was broken calf, and it was repaired with some metal part. And then pay attention to this. X inside the body. And again, later on it was proven that those are real eggs. And this mummy was little one of 60 centimeters. Again, 3 fingers, 3 toes, elongated skull, construction of the body totally different from ours, totally different. For example, we have 3 phalanx. They had 4, both Maria and this one. And then in 2018 we came with my colleague Professor Galitsky to this mountain. He took us to this cave, and I was able to come inside the cave. He demonstrated how it was there, and if you pay attention. And then he presented us two new mummies, these two. So altogether I kept in my hands 6 of them, little ones. And now we've been with my wife in Mexico, in private houses, private collections. They have their own mummies. So he sells this. So he has big amount. Just recently it was new mummy, like big size, like Maria as well. And you see, it's all couples. And all female, they all had this belly with eggs, all of them. Very strange skull, of course. Different type. They don't have. They have mouths, but they don't have teeth. So they can't chew, but they can only suck. So that's totally different from anything. And
So you could study Maria and some of the small so-called reptilian.
And I was the first to see it and to be able to study this. You have it in your hands. And I was able to take samples from inside the body, because it's real mummy with elongated skull with 3 fingers.
Nowadays they found new bodies, so they're talking about 5, 6, 7 species different. Some of the researchers are thinking about could be like very ancient engineering.
See, I am skeptical about this idea, because you see, all those mummies was found by one person in Peru, in Nazca area. He found the cave when it is maybe a lot of those mummies, and for some time he was very afraid. He hid his face, he hid his name, but now he found that he has no troubles with government, because government doesn't accept this as artifacts. So now he can sell it, and he tried to sell it to everybody. That's why we know about existence of about 10 or more mummies, and they are in different private collections. Some of them, quite several of them, are in Ica University, in scientific collections, but we don't know how many of them. But, you see, we know from archaeologists that in different civilizations, Peruvian civilizations, it was different way how to bury their dead people. But never ever they buried them as mummies. It was natural mummification, but before burying they put them in different clothing and different type of clothes, and then they buried them in different way. So those mummies, they had no clothes, no clothing. That's why it is totally different. We think that it was something different. It was some maybe place where they put these all creatures in the caves just to get rid of them. But it's only assumptions, because nobody was in this real cave. In 2019 we were taken to one of the caves where he claimed that he found something, but I'm very skeptical about this. He brought one little mummy there. We demonstrate how it may be buried in the sand, but I don't think it's different. That's why we have no idea what it was and where it was found.
They will talk about a small citadel, a small city under the ground, but no one knows nothing about that.
Yes, absolutely. Nobody knows. Maybe it's a city, maybe it's a cave, maybe it's some tunnels. Nobody knows, because this guy, he is very secretive, because he is not interested to reveal this information. He wants to keep it in his hand and get profit from this. He is very greedy, and he sells it quite expensive.
So in some of them, a lot of them, they found a metal plate. So maybe 3 types of speculation about that, like an ancient technology or decoration or what. What do you think they could be?
No, first of all those metal plates, those are inserts. They're inside the body. It's not just decoration like people have bracelets or something like this. It is a surgical operation to put some implants for bones, for example, broken bones. And it was done analysis of those implants, and mostly it is bronze, silver, sometimes with gold. So it's clear that it's not modern approach, because we would never make implants with bronze. We would make it with steel, with titanium, but not with bronze. So it's clear that they had surgery, they had it, and we have evidences of surgical operations on skull as well. And we know now hundreds of skulls operated by the civilizations. So that's clear that some of them was operated, and they had this technology.
Do you think it could be some kind of relation between these legends about the small people? That is another thing. They are not physical, but this one is physical. I thought in the centuries maybe the people confused one very physical entities and other not physical.
Yes, of course. We know that we have in practically all countries, in all civilizations, there was some stories about dwarfs, little creatures. And all those dwarfs, they were living underground. So it's very well known. So based on what we have with little mummies, we can really speculate that maybe it was some creatures living in caves underground, and why not, maybe they were, and of course people was able to meet them, they were able to get contact with them, and that's why people was afraid of them. You know that tunnels in Bosnia, tunnels in Mexico, in Teotihuacan, in many other countries, they were filled with earth. And it's proven that it was filled about 2000 years ago. But they were designed and constructed much earlier. In the case of Bosnian pyramids, it's proven 26,000 years ago, even more. So it means that maybe it was these creatures living in those caves. People was afraid of them. Maybe they had some encounter with them. Maybe it was not pleasant. And they decided to close those tunnels, not let them get out and to have contact with people. So it's quite probable.
But someone lives there, because I told you before, I've seen a lot of orbs today in these tunnels here in Visoko. But talking about giants, also giants in general, but also the professor, the researcher there, Nazca, told me people say they see nowadays small people, they see nowadays giants. They told me we cannot trust to everyone, but they have seen also a giant head.
Yes, it is very well known. It was many excavations where they found big bones, big heads, big skulls. So it was no doubt that at some moment it was giants existing in the earth. And it's absolutely logical. Why not? We have Homo sapiens, we have Homo neanderthalis, we have Homo denisovans, and it's absolutely clear that at some moment it was maybe a variety of different Homo, different sapiens, of big size, little size, big 3 fingers, 5 fingers, and then most of them they vanished. And maybe those mummies that we found in Nazca, it was the last creatures.
If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe to the channel, because it's the best way to support our work.
So DNA study was done in Russia, in Canada, in Mexico, in the United States, and we exchange our data all together. So this paper was published in Spanish, and it was found that Maria, she has human-like DNA. So she is sapiens. You understand, sapiens. But now they can compare DNA of this particular person with all database of DNA of the world. And it was found no correlation. So she doesn't belong to any race or any nation. She is sapiens, but different. And when we did DNA of this little stuff, then it was no correlation at all with nothing.
So comparative analysis have been done with humans, animals, all the possible animals, butterflies, worms, bacteria, no correlation. So their DNA is totally different from this. So, and you see most of DNA is unclassified. So some of them is possible to attribute to something, but most of them is totally different.
It means that they can, some parts of DNA, some genes, they can attribute to some bacteria. It's mathematical process, how they, it's special, now they have special mathematical genetics. So those are guys who sit with very powerful computers, it's not laptops, They have huge computers, really big, and it takes a lot of time to make this analysis, several days. In our case, it was 3 months to make this. But we have
But they have same results with ours. The analysis of Canadians is very similar. So, who they are, the mummies of Nazca? We have two types, big mummies and small ones. And we know. Now we know very well. The science accepts three types of Homo sapiens: Sapiens neanderthalis, Sapiens sapiens, ourselves, and Sapiens denisovians. So, of course, why not these are just another type, Homo Nazca, just another line, and this line existed for some times, only maybe in this area, but this area is very enigmatic. No idea why they have that. No idea. They have a lot of ceramics from Nazca civilization, a lot of pottery, but no idea about this. Then there is another question. The only real solution that people accept is that type of dinosaurs. Because when you think about dinosaurs, we see that picture. It's typical, all our imagination from all over the world, but in reality it was a little dinosaurs, animals. And they are known as well. And of course science knows maybe hundreds of types of dinosaurs, but not all of them, because only in some area is possible to find fossils. But if you go to Africa, in South America, then no fossil, it's impossible to find it. That is why we thought maybe it was some kind of bridges of that type, dinosaurs types, because we don't know the DNA of dinosaurs. It is impossible to get it. So why not? Maybe it was like these creatures. It's the only normal explanation. Why it is important for us?
Of course, it's a very interesting topic by itself, but why? Because it shows us that what we know about history is just a little part of reality. Little part. And what's accepted as historical development is only last little part. Because, you see, human beings, sapiens, like we do, like we are, exist for at least for 400,000 years. 400, 300,000, it's different discussion, but doesn't matter. And only 10,000 years of civilization. So you see, how it's possible. So what people did all this time before. Because now it is absolutely clear when people create civilization, when they can gather together. Only when it is possible to create big groups of people, then they create civilization. But in all those time, it was many options to do it. And if we look to objects from Nazca civilization, they have many ceramics, they have many tapestry, and it was my own picture from museum, from Cusco. You see, 3 fingers. Very typical. It's on display in museum. Nobody pay attention. It's 3 fingers. 3 fingers. Many tapestry, again, from museum. Very, very typical. So they knew this. So it means that in Nazca civilization, those creatures, they lived together with them. And for them, it was just a part of their life. Another interesting topic. I mentioned you that they all had elongated skull. Much different from our skull. And now, again, you go to Peru, you see many elongated skulls on display. There are many museums, you can go there, and you can see this type of skulls. So again, this type, that type, and very interesting hole, again. So some of those skulls, they have this type of holes. I don't know whether it's bullet or just somehow. We don't know, of course. But a very precise hole. And it's not the only case. It's many cases of this kind. And there are hundreds of them on display. You can go to the museum, you can see this, and I've been there in these museums. So it's very well known in Peru, in Mexico, those people with elongated skulls. And it was not only in this area. You know, Egypt, again, elongated skull. So very well known in Egypt. Funny story, elongated skull child, 2000 years old, skeleton in Crimea. It's part of Russian territory now. Again, I was lucky to visit many collections in the world where there are very strange subjects. This is very well known Ica stones. In Peru, huge collection with thousands of stones. Some of them was found together with archaeologists. They dig, and archaeologists was able to take these stones. So it is clear it's not because they claim, oh, it's all done by people. No, of course not. What for? They don't sell it. You can't buy it. It's in the museum. And some of them little, some of them big, and a lot of drawings. And you can see surgical operations, heart operations. You can see people who look to stars with a tube. And you can see different dragons and people riding on dragons. That's why archaeologists tell, oh, it's total nonsense, it's impossible. Because there are stones with just depiction of everyday life, many stones, and many stones with dragons. So it's one of the story. And another, this is from private collections. I've been invited to one collection in Mexico, several collections in the United States. There are many people who collect this. Again, it's clear it is ancient artifacts with some writings and totally unknown to us language. Like this, these little ones, big ones, different. You see like this. There is very interesting drawings, and of course this looks like Mayan drawings, but totally enigmatic, totally different from Mayan, because we know Mayan, it is Mayan writings, they were declassified by Knorozov, Professor Knorozov from St. Petersburg, and like this, you see, again, pictures, the whole letter, but what is this, we don't know, like this, and some of them are very little. So, okay, thank you very much for the moment. So, if you have questions, I am ready to answer some, at least some.
Have you seen the last body they found? No, there are some more. There is an insectoid now that is smaller than the reptiloid. The so-called reptiloid, they are similar but smaller, teeny, with two small wings. Someone say maybe he jumped and used to land. And there are probably this giant, we don't know, one with the crest here, they say, we don't have seen. And there is a big one, other big ones, Montserrat, they call her the princess, that has a baby inside of 3 months, maybe 3 months if it was human, and a lot of metal plate, one here, so what could be the third eye, gold one maybe, and a lot of them. What do you think about that? Someone preserved this body for us or for the future. Someone had a technology to preserve them and to do the plates, them or themselves.
No, you see, all those bodies that you've told about, of course I've seen only pictures, not more. But it is clear, this was natural mummification, natural preservation. They've been used by some civilization not known to us. Maybe it was in Nazca time, maybe it was around, and it was just different creatures that existed by that time. So to me it's nothing special. No, it's special, but it's understandable.
Yeah, but inside there is cadmium inside the way of preservating, no?
Why not? No, you see, yes, we know that they had these implants.
Yeah,
So if they need it, they put these implants inside.
sure.
It's understandable.
We are here now in Visoko, which may be the relation of this technology you are studying here, and also you told us yesterday about the possibility these Nazca bodies, Nazca not human bodies, could be another type of humanity.
Of course, it is all interrelated. We are just one of the civilizations that exist on our Earth, and we think that it was cycles of civilizations, and in many ancient texts in India, in China, they talk about cycles. So we are in this cycle, but it was previous cycles, maybe not even one, and it was other types of civilization that had different paths in their development, and they achieved different knowledge, and they were able to implement this knowledge in their constructions. But then, due to some catastrophic events, and we know about the last one, the end of Ice Age, they vanished, and we have only some glimpses.
Here, the Dr. Osmanagic and the foundation are doing a very beautiful work. And do you think which could be the way for Nazca? And because this is not the only case, no? We know the stone of Ica, the lines of Nazca. There are so much mysteries in that area, and then we'll need to be freed, to be free for people to understand. And maybe could be we find as humanity a new way to reconnect to our history. Or
you see, I really adore what Dr. Osmanagic done and what he's doing, because he's not only brave man, he's not only great scientist, but he's really deep thinker, and he can create dreams, visions, and he can implement this in real life. It's very rare. We can compare him with Elon Musk in this area. So that's why it's difficult, but he did it. In South America, we don't have this type of people yet, but I'm sure that we are in the process of a very interesting spiritual transformation of our civilization, and we have more and more people who are open to these new ideas, people who have real power, real money. So I believe that at some moment it would be people who would apply their resources and knowledge in South America, because I love this region. I love Peru, I love Mexico, I love Guatemala, Belize, other countries. I've been a lot of time in this area, and now I plan to go to Chile in November, of course, this Easter Island to study. So it's so many enigmatic moments, enigmatic places, and of course we need to apply our knowledge, our imagination and resources to understand what it's all about.
so, what will you tell to young people, or not young people, that would like to search the truth?
We live in very interesting time, because we have time of development of new science, new paradigm in science, in physics, in biology, in medicine, and in archaeology as well. So that's why you need to keep your mind open to new ideas. You need to look everything without some predisposition, but at the same time you should be skeptical, because it's a lot of fake information, mostly on internet. It's a lot of rubbish, and to distinguish one from another, it's sometimes very difficult, even in science. So that's why let's have our mind open. Let's be interested in new information, but let's be very careful and skeptical. Don't believe in anything, but try to find real evidences, and first of all scientific evidence. Then you can understand what is real and what is fake, because there are many fakes in the world and many fantasies.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor.
Okay.
If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe to the channel, because it's the best way to support our work.